Hello guys, welcome back to Tech Projects. I am back with another video. So in this video we are going to see the new part of our notes application series, and this is the fifth part of our notes app. So the first part is demo and two other parts are for UI and another part where we create the database for our application. And now in this part we will going to write the main code, like how to save the note inside our application. So we will going to do lots of coding inside in this project and in this part, and you will going to learn lots of things in this part. So don't further delay, now let's start the video. And if you don't check the previous part, then please check out the previous part and then continue on this video, and all parts are available in playlist. And if you don't like the video, then please like the video, and if you don't subscribe the channel, then please subscribe the channel and hit the bell notification for Android and web development projects notification. So now let's start the video. So first of all, I have to open my project. So you can see I open my project, and in previous video I created this node repository and some other things like DAO class, node database, these kind of things. So first of all, I close everything and we can start working from scratch. So now first of all, I want to show one more important thing which I want to use inside this project, which is the extension class. So what is the extension class? In extension class we can create a function so that we can use a function anywhere we want. So we don't need to write that function code again and again. Let us suppose I want to create a function of hide keyboard. So let us suppose user click on keyboard, then I want to hide it, and I have 100 of activities, so I have to write the 100 time code. So on that time I can use the extension class, so I have to create the function only one time, then I can directly access that. So hope you understand what is the benefit of extension class. So for this, first of all, right click on your package name, then new, then click on package and give the class package name utils. You can give any name, and inside this we can create the extension file, new Kotlin class file, and you can give any file name. I simply give the extension. So this is our extension.kt. So inside this, first of all, delete this because we have to create a function here. So fun, and then you have to type here view, then your function name. So I simply give the function name hide keyboard. Now we have to import this view. So I alt plus enter and I import this view successfully. Now after this, take two curly braces so we can create this function. Now we have to add a equal because this function will return something. So now I have to take the context dot get system service, and inside this we have to pass our input method. So input, so this one is input underscore method underscore service. So now import this. You have to type this manually, it is not appearing by automatically. Now you have to type here as input method manager, then dot and hide soft input from window, and inside this we have to pass your window token, and the second parameter is hide not always. You have to type this again manually, and now press alt plus enter. So this extension is created successfully, and now we can successfully use this. So it will hide our keyboard whenever we want. So now this work is finished. Now come inside your nav graph. So as I already tell you in previous video, in this project I am going to use a serializable. So because I have to pass the object from one fragment to another fragment, so on that time we have to use serializable. But in previous method we can directly use this, but in newer method we have to mention inside our nav graph what we want, which type of argument we pass from one activity to another activity. So let us suppose user click on any particular node from our home fragment, then we want to send the user from home fragment to update node fragment where a user can update the node. But I am going to use the save node fragment for update as well. So that's why I am going to use the same fragment for update and same fragment for save. So that's why I have to pass the data from our node fragment to our save or update fragment. So for this I have to mention an argument type inside this fragment. So for this you have to, don't worry, simply type this argument, and then after this argument you have to mention the argument name. So you can give any name. I simply give the argument name note. Then you have to type here default value. So default value, it contain null. It can contain null, so I simply mention default value null. Then after this we have arg type. So inside arg type we have to mention the object type which you want to pass here with the package name exact. So my package name is com.example. So for this I can simply open this node class note, and this is my project name com.project. This one. So I can simply copy this and I can mention this here, and then after this class name, the class name is note. That's it. Then after this it can be nullable, so nullable, and simply pass it through. That's it. Now close this. Now we can successfully pass the data of entire object from one fragment to another fragment, and we don't need to worry, and we don't need to write any kind of code. That's enough. So this work is also finished. Now whenever user open the application, first of all we have to create the instance of our database so we can use that. So for creating the instance of our database, where we have to write the code, our main activity contains two fragments, node fragment and save or delete fragment. So but all fragments are hosted on our main activity. So whenever user open the application, first of all the main activity is going to appear on our screen, where we will show the node fragment on that screen. So for this we have to create the instance inside our main activity. So hope you understand. So we have to create the instance of database here. So for this, simply type here latent var and then node activity view model. I already created this. Then another variable we can declare it as a private latent var and then binding. So it will not showing anything. So why it is not showing anything? Just wait a minute. So for this, first of all, open your activity main XML file, and we have to convert this layout to data binding layout. So right click here, then you click on show context option and simply click on convert to data binding layout. That's it. So I already explained what is data binding. So if you don't know what is data binding, then I already uploaded an entire series on data binding, like what is data binding, how data binding work, and what is the benefit of using data binding. So you can check that entire playlist of Android MVVM series. So now we can use this data binding here. So private latent var, then binding activity main binding, this one. Now after this, first of all we want to hide the action bar inside this application. So support action bar dot hide, and it can pass the null, so we can add a question mark here. That's it. Now instead of set content view, if we want to use data binding layout, we have to type here binding equal then activity main binding dot bind, or we can use dot inflate, and inside this we have to pass our layout inflator. That's it. Now we have to write some code to create the database instance inside our try catch block. So try, and inside try we have to type here, first of all, set content view binding dot root. Then after this we have to take a variable of a node repository, type here node repository. Then we have to take the instance of database node repository. Inside this we have to pass the node database, and then we have to inside this we have to pass the context, which is our this context. Then we have to use this node repository. So val node view model provider factory, this one, node activity view model factory, and inside this we have to pass the node repository. So type here equal, and here we have to pass the node repository. That's done. Now we have to simply set the node activity view model inside this equal, take the view model provider here. Inside this we have to pass the first parameter is our context, and second parameter is node view model provider factory, this one. Then mention the class. So node activity view model class.java. That's it. So now our database instance is created successfully. Now after this it is showing error, so we can add a catch block here, sub catch, and we can take any kind of exception. So exception class is a parent of all classes, so we can take the exception here. Then inside this we can add a log statement here or whatever we want. So log.d, so tag error, you can give any message, it is your choice. So now this work is also finished. So now come inside your save or node fragment, or not on save or node fragment, node fragment. So first of all, user click on save node or add new node button, then we have to send the user from this fragment to our another fragment, which is our where user can type the node, or where user can enter the detail, title and content of the node, so we can save that node inside our database. So first of all, it contains lots of boilerplate code. First of all, we can delete all code from here. We don't need this, we don't need this, we don't need this, we don't need this companion object right now. That's it. Now everything is fine. So first of all, inside this you can see this is our class of node fragment. So here we can directly mention our layout file for this. So r.layout.fragment node, and open this fragment node, and first of all change the layout to our data binding layout, so we can directly use this of IDs of this node fragment. Now this is successfully done. So if I type this here, so I can remove this entire line, we don't need this, and also we can remove this from here. That's it. Add a bracket here, and inside this simple mention the super dot on create save instance state. That's it. Now you can see error is gone. So first of all, here we have to type private let init var. We have to take some variables. So first variable is for node binding, fragment node binding, this one. Then we have to take the instance of private val for our node activity view model, node activity view model, node activity view model, and by activity view model, this one. Now we have to override a method on view created. So alt insert and simply click on override methods and on view created. So on view created, this method. Now inside this function we can mention the transition. Whenever user open this fragment, we can show the transition, and whenever user close this fragment, then we can mention the transition. So we can use the transition again and again. So for this I have to simply type here exit transition. This is inbuilt. Then inside this equal, then type here material elevation scale, and type here false, then dot apply. So if you don't know how this thing is work, then you can read out the fragment lifecycle, like first which method is run inside a fragment. So on create view is run firstly. That's why we are writing the code here. Now press enter. This is our exit transition. Then we can mention our enter transition as well. So material elevation scale again. Then here we can pass it to true, then dot apply. Then inside this we can mention the duration. So 1000 mean 1000 millisecond means 1 second. So this is less than half second. So it is your choice how many time you want transition. That's it. Now inside our on view created. So first of all press enter. Then after this we have to type here node binding equal fragment node binding dot bind, and inside this we have to pass the view, so it will bind the view. Then we have to take the instance for our activity. So val activity, then the variable type is activity as activity, which is our main activity. So we have to type here main activity. So now we have the context of our main activity as well. Now we have to declare a variable for nav controller. So because it will help to move from one fragment to another, navigation dot find nav controller inside this parser view. So whenever user open this fragment first time, so first of all we have to hide the keyboard if a keyboard is appearing, because we are coming from, let us suppose user save a node, then we have to send then again user to our node fragment. So we have to type here require view dot hide keyboard. I already created this function, so you can see this is the benefit of using creating an extension file, so we can use this function directly. Now I have to hide the action bar as well, or title bar inside this. So it is better to launch the scope here of Kotlin scope. So we don't need to hide the title bar inside our main thread. We can launch a separate thread, dispatches.main. Then after this we have to launch it. So you can type here launch. Then inside this we have to set the delay. It is your choice, whatever you want to set the delay. I simply set the delay 10 seconds. This is 10 millisecond. Then after this we have to type here activity dot window dot status bar color, and you can set any color, it is your choice. So I simply type here color dot white. Then after this we have activity again, activity dot window dot clear flag manager dot layout params dot flag draw system bar backgrounds. Then activity dot window dot status bar color, and inside this we can pass here again a color dot parse color, and inside the color code I can mention the color code whatever I want to pass. So 9E 9D 9D, this one is fine. Now below this we have to create a main function here. Whenever user click on nav controller, then we have to send the user from this activity to our save or delete node fragment. So node binding dot add node fab dot set on click listener. If user click on this, then we have to send the user from this fragment to our save or node fragment. So for this, first of all, we have to set the node binding dot app bar layout dot set visibility, and here we have to pass the visibility invisible, view dot invisible. Then we have to send the user from this fragment to another. So node nav controller dot navigate, and here we have to mention our action. So node fragment directions dot action node fragment to save or delete fragment. I already created this inside our nav graph. Now we can copy this again, because we have an inner fab also. If user are swiping in our home screen, then we have to show the inner fab, that's why. So for this we have to type here inner fab, this one. So this is also done. So the fork of this fragment is created successfully, so it is showing error. First of all, let me check what is the error. So instead of this on create view, we have to use it on create, that's why it is showing error. So now the error is gone. Now after clicking on this button, user will move on to our save or delete node fragment, so where we have to write the code how to save the data inside our database. So open your save or delete fragment, and first of all delete these methods, we don't need them. Then after this, delete this as well, companion object, we don't need this, and it is better to delete everything, so we can type it again. So first of all, here we have to mention the layout, so r.layout.fragment save or delete, this one. Then inside this we have to declare some variables. So private let init var, then the first variable is for our nav controller. Then open this fragment as well and change the layout to data binding layout. Now we can successfully write the code. Now we have to take the variable let init var content binding, and the type of this fragment save or delete binding, this one. Then after this private var, then we have to take the object of note as well, note type, and by default we can store inside this null. So let import this. Now we have a by default color which we want to show on our background, so color, and this is -1 white color. Then private val, then note activity view model, then we have to pass this again, same thing, note activity view model. Now type here by activity view models, this one. Then we have a current date time, so current date, and here we have to use the simple date format, simple date format. Then we have to take the instance, so dot get instance, then we have to take the date format, and inside this we have to mention the date, so it will return the current date and time. Then we have a private val job, so leave this for now, I will let you explain this thing after some time whenever we write the code about this. So coroutine scope, and inside this we have to pass the dispatches main. Then after this we have arguments. Let us suppose user are updating the node, then we have to take the args as well, so save or delete fragment args, this one, by nav args, this is by default, which I mentioned inside our nav graph, that's why. Now we have a on create view, on create method. So inside on create, what we have to take an animation. So for this we can declare a variable of animation type animation, and then we have a material container, we can use this material container transform animation, and then we have to apply this dot apply. Then inside this we have to mention our drawing view id, and we can mention r.id.fragment, this one. Then we have to mention that color, screen color.transparent. Then at last we have a duration, so duration equal 300L, this one is fine. Then inside this shared element enter transition equal, inside this we can add animation, and shared exit element return transition, and inside this we can as well mention as animation, that's it. Now after this we have a main method on view created, where we will write all code to save the node on. So we have to write the code below this bracket, so you can see 2 brackets are left at bottom. So inside this we have to create a function here, override function on view created, so this is fine. Now our app is showing one error, so don't worry. So first of all we have to type here content binding equal fragment save or delete bind, and inside this we have to pass the view. Now below this we have to set the animation, but let us suppose user opening a previous note, but for now we can leave this, we will set it later. Now below this bracket what we need to type here, nav controller equal navigation view dot find nav controller, navigation dot find nav controller. Inside this we have to pass the view, and the second thing, val activity as main activity. Now at last we have to create the function content binding dot save note dot set on click listener. Then inside this we have to call the function here. So here we can call the function save note. So I will create this function. So take your cursor here and create this function save note. And let us suppose user click on back button, content binding dot back button dot set on click listener. Then we can do require keyboard. First of all we have to hide the keyboard, required keyboard dot hide. Then we can type here nav controller dot pop backstack, so it will send to our back screen. So after this, first of all, whenever user open this fragment, we have to set the focus on our edit text. It is your choice whether you want to set the focus or not. You can skip this code if you don't want to set a focus by default. But if you want to set focus, then you can write the code inside your try catch block. So content binding dot, then we have a et note content, this one. Then we have a function of set on focus change listener, this one. Now inside this, first of all we have to pass some parameters. So first parameter is dash, then comma, and then other parameter is has focus. Now we can use if else. So if it contain a focus, then what we can do, we can remove the focus, otherwise we can show the focus. So content binding dot bottom bar dot visibility, and it is visible. And then one thing we can do, content binding dot et note content dot set styles bar. And then after this we have a content binding dot style bar, this one. This is Jake Marco edit text. So whenever user click on the edit text, then we have to show the bottom bar or style bar, so that user can bold the text, user can use italic or other functions of that mark over and edit text. Then inside else part, what we can do, we have to simply set here else content binding dot bottom bar dot visibility, and we can use visibility view dot con, that's it. Now after this we have a catch block as well. So catch, inside this we have it can throw anything, so throwable, we can use this class. And after this we can print anything, it is your choice whatever you want to do. So log.d and e dot stack trace, that's it. Import this log statement as well. It is showing error, so we have to convert this to string as well, so to string, that's it. So we can minimize the code to see the code more clearly, so minimize it. So this code is from here. Now below this, first of all we have to create the object for our bottom sheet dialog, because if user click on color button, then we have to show the bottom sheet, and if user pick any color, then we have to change the background color of our application or of that fragment. So we'll start writing that code. So content binding dot first of all when user click on this fab color picker button, then we have to set on click listener for on this button, set on click listener. Now inside this we have to take the val bottom sheet dialog variable, and the type of the variable is bottom sheet dialog. And inside this we have to pass some parameters. So first parameter is our context, and second parameter is our style. So first of all we have to create a separate style for this. So it is better to copy paste the style from my previous project. So I open my previous one project, just wait a minute. So this is the bottom sheet dialog theme. So I can simply copy this, and after copy I can paste inside my themes. So in your Render Studio the themes is present, and in previous Render Studio the styles is present. Then we can also do for night as well. So I will provide, you can type this as a manually, or I will try to provide the drive link of the style as well, but it is not so much of heavy code, so you can type this by seeing this normally from here and also from here, both are same things. Now close this as well, and now we can use the styles here. So r.style dot bottom sheet dialog theme. That's it. So it is come here successfully. Now first of all open your bottom sheet. So where is our bottom sheet layout? So this one is, I think this is not, this one is. So first of all change the bottom sheet dialog to our data binding layout so we can directly access the variables of this. Now this is just we create a variable for bottom sheet dialog. Now we have to set this variable on our bottom sheet. So first of all take a variable for bottom sheet view, bottom sheet view, type of this is view, and then layout inflator dot inflate. Inside this we have to pass the layout of our bottom sheet, r.layout dot bottom sheet layout. Then second parameter is null. Now below this we have a bottom sheet binding, bottom sheet binding, and now we can type here bottom sheet layout binding dot bind, and inside this we can pass our bottom sheet view. That's it. Now we can type here bottom sheet binding dot apply, and inside of this we can write the code, which is our, first of all our function is color picker. So color picker dot apply, then inside this we can set selected color, which is the color which is selected by the user. So we have to set that color on our inside our color code, inside our color variable. So this is by the help of this set selected color is present in the inbuilt method of a library which I use to take the color picker array. Now below this we have to type here set on color selected listener, and inside this we have a value. Then after this we will get the value and we will store that value inside our color variable, color and value. Then content binding dot apply. So why we are using apply? Because it is, if we want to set multiple click listener or multiple things, then we can directly use the apply and then we can set that directly. So we don't need to write again and again content binding dot, so we can directly use this. So now we have to change the color of background. So node content fragment parent dot set background color, and inside this we can pass our color. Then what we have, toolbar of fragment node, so set background color, and inside this we can pass again color. Then we have a bottom bar dot set background color, and inside this we can pass the color. And at last we have a activity dot window dot status bar color, and inside this we can also pass our color. So hope you understand why we take the activity instance. Now below this bracket we have to show this. So first of all we can also change the bottom sheet color. So bottom sheet binding dot bottom sheet parent dot set card background color, and inside this we can pass the color. Bottom sheet parent dot set card background color and pass it color, and we have to show the bottom sheet. So bottom sheet view, now we can use this bottom sheet view dot post, and inside this we can type here bottom sheet dialog dot behavior dot state, and then we can type here bottom sheet behavior, this one, dot state expand. So this bottom sheet work is also finished. Now let's start writing the code for our save note function. So close this, first of all remove this to do, and we can write the code from here. So first of all we can check if content binding dot et note content dot text, we have to get the text to string and is empty, or it is your choice, whatever the parameter you want to add. Et note et title dot text to string is empty. So if something is empty, then we can display a message here, toast dot make text activity and something is empty, toast dot length short dot show, and inside else part we can save our note. So first of all we have to take the note inside our note, this variable I declare above, and args dot note. So why I done this here, because let us suppose user are opening the previous note from our home fragment. So on that time we have to show the content of note on our activity on our fragment. So that's why I take this. So first of all, we are going to do the work of the only save note in this video, and we will write the code for update note in the next part. But for now, just simply type here when note. We will switch the note. We will use here switch condition, and in Kotlin it is known as when. Then we will check if note is null, then it means it is a fresh note. If it is null, then it means it is a fresh note. Then we can call the function note activity view model dot save note, and inside this we have to pass the object of note type. So first parameter is our id, so by default you have to send 0 id and it will automatically increment, so don't worry. Then we have to send our title, content binding dot et title text to string. Then our second thing is our content binding dot et node content dot get md. This is markdown edit text. Then we have to pass the current date. So it is showing error, maybe I give the wrong name here, so this is current date. This is also done. And at last what we have to pass here, we have to pass the color code, so color, that's it. Then we have to send the user from this fragment to another fragment, which is our main fragment. So nav controller dot navigate. Then inside this we have to use the save or delete fragment directions and dot action save or delete note fragment. And here we can use else, and here we can update our note. Work is finished. So now let's check our app whether the app is working or not, and if it is working fine, then we will end this video, and if it is not working fine, then we will try to figure out the error, and then we will end this video. So for this I have to connect my phone, and then I will press on run button. One more thing I want to say before running the app. Let us suppose if your app will show error on running, so you have to change some dependencies. So first of all, you have to change the minimum SDK to 23. So in line number 23, in line number 15 your minimum SDK is written, so you have to change it to 23, otherwise it will going to show error. Now the second change you have to make, in line 95 you have to make it alpha 02 instead of alpha 03. So inside this dependency of material you have to make it alpha 02 instead of alpha 03. And at last in line 90 I add a dependency here. You can see this Android app fragment ktx alpha 09. So you have to remove this dependency, otherwise it will going to show error. So now it's done. So now let's check our app whether the app is working or not, and if it is working fine, then we will end this video. So for this I have to so I press on run button and grid will start building. So this is the first time when we are going to check our app. So I have built successful, and it will install the applications. Error phones application it does not install, maybe due to my phone disconnected. So I have to connect it again. Just wait a minute. So now I press on run button again. Now it will going to launch the application on my phone. So application launched successfully. So you can see by default where we are on our home fragment. So if I click on add note, I come successfully here, and you can see you are able to see the animation, which is working fine. Now let's change the something by user. So color picker is not working, so we will check it. Now new note, I simply type this new note, and if it get focus, the bottom bar is also not showing here. And if I click on save, so note is saved successfully. So our bottom sheet is not showing. So first of all, because why it is not showing, so the main thing we forget to write here, and here we have to type here with bottom sheet dialog, and then we have to type here set content view, and inside this we have to pass our bottom sheet view, and then we have to pass the show. That's it. So it will help to show our bottom sheet. I forget to type this, and for showing the bottom sheet view we have to simply write this code. So video is already getting so long, so I think we have to end this video, and we will complete this notes app in the next part. So the next part will be going to the final part of our notes app, where we will add functionality like how to swipe to delete button, how to update the note, how to show all note in a cycler view with animation, and we will do all remaining work in the next part. So thank you for this video. If you have any question, you can just comment down below. I will try to give the answer of every comment. Please like the video, please subscribe the channel, and please share the video. This video takes so much time to build, so please like the video, please subscribe the channel, and please share the video. So thank you, see you soon in next amazing video.